If you noticed some hypocrisy and shifty behavior on the part of Democrat California Governor Gavin Newsom, enormous schisms between his rhetoric versus his actions, well, you're not alone. And now we get more evidence as the man who has mandated billions in expenses onto Californians to conform to his climate collectivism gets exposed for having to, you got it, depend on fossil fuels that he routinely demonizes. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. Just over 84 years ago, on August 25th, 1939, The Wizard of Oz hit theaters. At 23 cents per ticket, one could have bought 55 more tickets and shared them with friends for the roughly $13.50 in inflated Federal Reserve notes that a single adult ticket costs today. But the anniversary of this motion picture does more than reveal its staying power compared to the dwindling strength of US fiat currency. Indeed, the curiously multifaceted fantasy acts as a parable about the importance of self-reliance, free association, gold and silver currency, and the frauds who usually occupy positions of self-aggrandized political power. Perhaps it's only fitting then that the charlatan wizard's phrase, "Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain," should have been delivered and shot in the state of California, where numerous of America's biggest political frauds have emerged to pull the levers, and where the current wizard-like governor might want folks to pay utterly no attention to the clear disparity between reality and his fraudulent cult of the climate claims. Thomas Catenacci recently played Toto in this ongoing Newsom charade, pulling back the curtain on the fact that Newsom's government quietly is expanding the use of a fossil fuel facility that Greenie Gavin promised to shut down because, of course, his green mandates of solar and wind and his attacks on oil and natural gas and energy, well, they were going to work just like magic for all the poor citizen munchkins out there in Californiaville. Quote, California's top state regulator that oversees utilities approved a plan to expand a controversial fossil fuel facility that Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom has vowed to shut down. The 5-member California Public Utilities Commission, CPUC, voted unanimously late Thursday to increase inventory capacity at the Aliso Canyon Natural Gas Storage Facility in Los Angeles County, the agency announced. Hold on. Did Catenacci write that the great wizard Newsom pledged to shut down that Aliso Canyon gas storage facility? Or was that an illusion? Oh, that's right. No, it's true. Of course it's true. Quote, in 2018, Newsom made a campaign promise to close Aliso Canyon, saying he was fully committed to doing so. Indeed, Newsom has been very vocal about his desire to push California residents into an emerald green utopia where cheap, easily acquired gas and oil are virtually banned, where carbon emissions are depicted as evil, despite having not been proven as drivers of Newsom's fantasy climate apocalypse, and of course where ever more numerous wind and solar farms eat up resources and throw people onto an unreliable electric grid that already has been cited as a massive wildfire hazard. Newsom also pushed very hard to see the state impose a 2020 mandate forcing builders and buyers of new homes to burden the buildings with photovoltaic cells. And in 2022, the state increased those mandates within their so-called Title 24 requirements. Those actually began in 1976, forcing additional energy-efficient technology, as they say, such as new on-site battery storage, onto homeowners. And who can forget those heartwarming scenes in California history when the Wizard of California also pushed for and got even more power to slap costly, unnecessary, and immoral emissions impositions on automotive makers, sellers, and buyers in California, rather than to take the peaceful route and just go into the business of car making or selling himself as a private market participant. Well, none of us can forget all of those wonderful moments in this fantasy world that Newsom wants to create in California. The fact that Newsom's earlier position doesn't comport with his government's new plan to expand this natural gas facility, well, it's just yet another example that even he doesn't believe the sorcery he promotes. The state can neither sustain current living and energy use standards nor expand them under Newsom's paradigm that shuns cheap petrochemical energy and which pushes for, as his PR flacks label it, 100% clean energy by 2045. Catanacci notes, quote, overall in 2021, the most recent year with data, wind and solar accounted for about 25% of total electricity generated in California, while natural gas accounted for more than 50% of in-state electricity generation, according to the California Energy Commission. And the virtually static models of anticipated future statewide energy use in their 100% plans, well, those virtually static models are unrealistic to say the least. In fact, even as Newsom and his assistants in Fantasy World performed various stunts in their climate cult show, pulling levers and speaking into microphones, people in the real world actually discovered that his administration quietly was allowing large corporations to increase their own backup, reading i.e. fossil fuel energy capacity should the already abysmal PG&E power monopoly in California again start rolling blackouts and rolling brownouts there. That, of course, coming on the heels of news that Newsom's vaunted ban on the internal combustion engine cars by 2035 will run into a virtual brick wall reality. That being that the state won't be able to generate enough electricity for all those EVs that he will mandate as the only options that supposedly free Californians can buy, sell, or drive. Perhaps people will be able to click their ruby slippers to get away from California. One thing's certain, Newsom's hot air could fill the wizard's balloon in Oz. And of course, it will not get his climate cult ideas off the ground. Only the real-world tests of market interplay conducted by free people can reveal what consumers find resourceful and drive providers to reduce costs through competition and productivity. No central authority, be he wizard or governor, can pull the levers on the free market system. And it's high time more folks see the charlatan behind the curtain for the dangerous manipulator that he is. Their economic future and the future of their progeny depend on it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe, and find us, of course, on Rumble, where they don't censor us, especially about items like this. And you can also find us on YouTube, where they do censor us if you want to go over there. Wherever you're watching, please give it the thumbs up and share the videos with friends and family members, co-workers, and comrades in arms, you might say. You can find us all the time at MRC-TV.org. MRC-TV.org is the place. And while you're there, please consider donating to the Media Research Center in its 36th year of fighting left-wing bias, and visit the MRC store to get great items. You can also find us in Facebook, which is always hopping, on Twitter, on TikTok, and on Instagram. And on Gab, I'm at Gardner Goldsmith, and on Twitter, I'm at Gard Goldsmith. Thanks so much for watching and sharing. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.